Well, it's 2024 and we are starting the year with a gorgeous yellow sunshiny painting. So you can see all those yellows in my palette. Just take whatever yellows you have and a couple of greens, and we're going to create this very happy, bright flower. Now wait till the end of the video where I come back on and I'm going to show you how I added a pop by incorporating a bunch of words and verses and quotes that just made this feel like a very much a welcome 2024 and really a settling in for the good things that are in store for us this year. So I hope you enjoy this. Hi everyone. Well, here we are, the first video of the year 2024, and I thought we would just do a really fun flower. A single flower in a vase. This is 6x8 paper, just kind of getting warmed up, and if it's cold where you are, it's cold where I am. We're gonna just use some warm colors to warm ourselves up today. I've got a bunch of greens and yellows that we're gonna use. In fact, I'm gonna start by just taking some green and coming down on this beautiful and happy flower that I have pictured here. I hope you had a wonderful start to your new year. I am always a bit just slow to start the new year typically. In the past, not always, but the past few years I have been. Last year and this year I'm gonna actually have some yellow coming down, and I just kind of like warming up slowly the last 2 years and not rushing into the new year, and anticipating what this year might hold, but also remembering some things from last year. I think I'm going to do brown in the center of the flower this morning. So we're kind of waking up our palettes. You know, the Christmas palette has been put away. I actually still have all Christmas up. That's going to be coming down this weekend with the end of Christmas tide. But I would just wanted to come on and do a little bit of a warm up with the painting today. And I was painting some other things, working on a new course, finishing that up. And I'll put some details in below, but there wasn't as many florals in the course. So I have to say, I am just really excited to paint flowers for a little while again. And you know, most of the flowers, of course, are in hibernation. They have withdrawn during the colder months. But I had this beautiful flower a friend gave to me, and that it blooms all year long because it's an artificial flower, but it just reminds me of my dear friend, and it reminds me of friendship that goes on and on and on. So we are starting this year thinking of friends, and thinking of friends in the past, friends in the present, friends I'm reconnecting with some snail mail. I often do that at Christmas time. I never get out all the Christmas cards I want to. I never have had a year where I thought to myself, I did it. I got out Christmas cards to everybody, which means that inevitably I then continue on with other cards. And so at least the practice continues, right? I'm just gonna use a dry brush to get out that green from my petal there. We're gonna just kind of let those dry just for a second, and I am gonna use some Hooker's Green to come back in. I have my palette's a bit wet. I was cleaning it out because I had just needed to be cleaned out. So it's all the watercolors are a bit wet. So we're gonna just use that to our advantage. And I'm gonna let this paint soak up in here. And the vase I have today is actually green, but it's a bit of a darker green. So I'm gonna use a sap green for the vase and then add in some Hooker's Green and probably a little bit of yellow. I love all the leaves on this flower. It's a very leafy flower, which I thought was it's very fun. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to pick up some sap green if you're painting with me. Again, we're just warming up into the year. I actually had some sun today, which we have a storm coming in, and it's been so gray this week that right when the sun came out, it was like, oh, I better take advantage. And even as I'm speaking, I can feel the sun shifting. It's so interesting here in New York. The sun does not come out quite as much as in California. So whenever I see it come out and I'm able to paint, I try to paint a little bit. It's just made me definitely more appreciative and alert of the sun and how much I just enjoy it. Okay, I'm gonna mix a little bit of the Hooker's Green in with the sap green and then just come over here where I'm seeing some shadows under the lip of the vase. And then I'm going to come down here. And there's actually a little bit more shadow over where the flower is right down there. So I'll make that area a little bit darker. I'm going to grab some more sap green right for the base, and I'm going to try not to get it into the tabletop, into the brown. I'm going to pick up some of the hooker's green and tap that in and tap this in over here. And then I can see yellow in this vase, especially when the light shines on it. So I'm going to rinse out my brush really, really good. And I'm using about a size 6 brush today. And I'm going to pick up some cadmium yellow. I'm just going to dip it in here. Just like that. And I'm going to pick up a little bit more. And this is a little bit wetter than I normally would do it. But that is just fine with me. It's fun to do things a little bit differently, right? And I see that I dropped that piece of yellow paint there. Not a big deal. I'm just going to tap it in like that. And then come back over here with some green. Again around the lip, around where I see the shadows are. And we're going to let that paint merge and do what it likes to do. I'm going to pick up some more of this sap green, that nice warm green, and I'm going to come back over here in the interior, and I'm going to add that all around, leaving some white. We don't want to take away all the white because that is the way our watercolors just dance, right? And you can see the paper buckling just a little bit here, or that water going in here. So what I can also do is I can move this around right in here. And you can see my sun is gone, but we're still doing pretty good here. Sometimes that just means there's less shadows. Let's pop this yellow right around here. I'm going to pick up, if you have lemon yellow, use some lemon yellow. You can use gamboge. Lemon's going to be definitely a cooler yellow, but that can be a nice base sometimes. And then what we can do is we can drop in a warmer yellow, because lemon's pretty cool. And then I can take gamboge, or I'll just take a little bit of the cadmium, and I'll just drop it in different sections. Just like this. And here we are, finishing up our first painting of the new year. Isn't this fun? And it's happy, right? This painting is so happy. I'm going to take a little bit more yellow until where it was green right in here, and I'm going to go all the way out to the edge. And then come out here and just make sure my edges are all very nice and marked. Beautiful. Take a little bit of even the sap green with my smaller brush now. And I'm going to come right back down here, pull that in. I'm going to go back to the brown, and I might come back later and I could do a little bit more pen work, but I kind of just like the way this flower, I think it's a zinnia-esque kind of flower. It just pops, and it looks very, very free-flowing, doesn't it? So here we are, first flower. Oh, that got a little bit messy down there. I'll just dab away with my paper towel, and we'll clean that up. But our first painting of 2024, it's hard to say that. It feels like a space movie, doesn't it? Wasn't there like Space Odyssey 2024, something like that? But there we go. And what I'm going to do too is I'm thinking I'm going to use this, and I'm going to like write in what I'm thinking about for the new year, and I'm going to write it behind the flower, and I'll include a picture of that as well in the video. So welcome to 2024, and we're going to have a lot of fun this year with our painting. Okay, I wanted just to come back and show you what I ended up doing. So to finish this off, if you felt like your petals begin to merge a little bit with the paint as you painted, so what I did is I cleaned up everything with a little bit of pen work. I added some texture up here. Again, a little bit of pen work. You can add in some more yellow, and I had certainly added just a little bit of yellow. I'm going to add in a pop. I would add a bit of gamboge. But another thing you can do is take that brown that's right here and add just a little bit to your yellow, so not a lot. But you can see that begins just to almost brings out a golden color. And then on where I just want a little bit more of a pop, I'm going to spread that around so our petals don't look flat. Then what I did is I went back through, I added in some shadowing here. We added in where I could see there was still some, where the light was reflecting. I'm just going to make sure I've added in some yellow to create that sense of light. Definitely in here a bit too. And then I took just several verses and quotes that were meaning a lot to me, and I wrote them vertically, bit by bit, all the way up. Now, the other thing I'm going to do to follow up with that is I'm going to take a bit of yellow and I'm just going to go over just a little bit of this piece. Again, just to create a sense that we're not flat. We've got some bounce right in there. And then finally down below here of just showing somewhere where that light is popping off. A beautiful picture to paint as we go into 2024.